What's going on, everybody? My name is Aiden and welcome back to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, it looks like the Chicago Bulls have made their final offer to Josh Giddey in relation to this upcoming restricted free agency. It's not even upcoming right now. It's literally very close towards coming to an end. And we, I guess, have either two options that could take place if this is truly the final offer here. Obviously, the first option is he accepts it. We move on with our lives. Everybody lives happily ever after. Josh Giddey gets the money I wouldn't say he wants, but he probably wants more, but he's willing to accept it. It's not that bad. We move on. Or Josh Giddey decides to bank on himself, accept a qualifying offer, and maybe even has the big threat of moving away from the Chicago Bulls in the next offseason after this one. So with that being said, what's the money? Is it the right deal? Should we have offered more? I guess these are the questions we need to ask ourselves. And what do you think the outcome will be ultimately? Let's talk about it in this video. Before we get any further, if you like the video and you want to see more from me, drop a like, drop a follow, and or subscribe if you are new. And let me know in the comments below what you guys think about Josh Giddey, the money he has been offered, and do you think he will ultimately accept it, or do you think that it's going to be a little bit too little too late and that he will decide to bank on himself? Let's get started, ladies and gentlemen. The money that was offered to Josh Giddey reportedly is a 4-year, $88 million contract. So if you divide that into a yearly salary, in a sense, it is going to be $22 million per season, which, to be fair, is an upgrade over the $20 million we have talked about in the past. Is it a massive upgrade over a long period of time? Well, to be fair, it is $8 extra million altogether. So, you know, that's definitely not something to sneeze at. But if you're looking at it from an NBA's point of view, with these players being ridiculously rich already, I would say this is probably not the upgrade that Josh Giddey was expecting. Now, I guess we need to discuss why this could potentially be a deal breaker for Josh Giddey. First and foremost, I look at what we've done in the past and it brings me great confusion, but ultimately, this could be a learning curve that the Bulls are trying to overcome here, because we have offered ridiculous money to people in the past. We have given Zach LaVine the max contract. We offered DeMar DeRozan 28 to 30 million per season. We gave Vucevic 20 million per season, even though I wouldn't, to be fair, 20 million for Vucevic isn't that bad. $18 million for Patrick Williams. So I feel like, okay, if you look at our past experiences, you should be giving Josh Giddey more money than $22 million per season. But at the same time, we looked at all those things and we thought to ourselves, there's no way these guys deserve that money. Maybe for some of them they did. I personally thought Zach LaVine deserved that max contract at the time. Even DeMar DeRozan, 28 million was a lot, but I could understand it. Vucevic, 20 million is understandable, but a lot of people thought way too much money. And that's their opinion. That's each their own, all of that sort of stuff. So if that's the case, right? Could they try and learn from their mistakes? And that's why they're having this whole conversation with Josh Giddey. Or maybe is it just because the market is demanding that we are the only team that can really give Josh Giddey any money, so we're holding our ground and we're going to make him make a decision, which in my opinion is not the right way to go about things. I personally think if you want him to be around, you need to give him a compelling offer to keep him around, but at the same time, learning from your mistakes. It's a hard balance. It's a slippery slope. It's a hard balance, ladies and gentlemen. So I can understand the predicament the Bulls are in, but if you're going to ask me, is $22 million enough to keep Josh Giddey around? I personally don't think $22 million per season is enough to keep Josh Giddey around. I think he showed with potential, even if you're paying based on potential, he's worth more than $22 million. And I think towards the end of the last season, he is worth more than $22 million per season. And that's just the harsh reality of things here. So I do think the market has definitely orchestrated this type of situation. And it sucks in a sense because this is how relationships do get broken in an organization. When you feel like the player is disrespected and when you feel like you're only doing things based on the market and not necessarily because you want to keep a player like Josh Giddey around, I feel like it's not going to be enough. But maybe it is. I want to talk about what happens if Josh Giddey accepts this. I mentioned it in the past, but if he accepts a $22 million per season offer, that is guaranteed money in the bank, ladies and gentlemen. There's no need to prove himself next season. There's no need to, I guess, live up to that contract. you know, you could fall to the wayside in 3 years' time. A bad injury could happen in 2 years' time, and that is guaranteed money that you are going to get no matter the circumstance. To me, that is the only positive in keeping Josh Giddey around for 22 million, and that's the only positive as to why Josh Giddey would accept this offer. Josh Giddey's made it very clear he wants 30 million per season. His agency, whoever's speaking on behalf of Josh Giddey, has made it very clear his camp is looking for 30 million per season. They've made comparisons with players that are making 30 million per season, and they believe that's Josh Giddey's standpoint. I personally have always felt there's always room to maneuver. There's always room to budge. I always felt like 25 is the sweet spot where you lose, all right, you lose money if you're Josh Giddey from the 30 million, but 25 is a very respectable salary to have in the NBA. It shows you're one of the top echelon players in the league today. But at the same time, you don't feel disrespected by 20 million, and that's what we gave to guys like Patrick Williams, you know, $18 million per season. You expect Josh Giddey to be a larger part of our organization, and you won't feel disrespected in that standpoint. I always felt like 25 is the sweet point, but the Bulls are not going to budge. So I feel like the qualifying offer is going to come, ladies and gentlemen, and I feel like Josh Giddey is going to accept that qualifying offer. Number one, we need to look at something that happened recently with the Brooklyn Nets. Cam Thomas accepted his qualifying offer. I believe they offered him, my guess was 23, I think it was 23 million per season, if I'm not mistaken. So around the range that Josh Giddey got requested for. And he said no. He said no, he's going to bank on himself. He accepts his qualifying offer. He's probably going to ball out next season, give everything he can to that season, and get more money in the future. And I feel like that's the right business move for Cam Thomas, and that will probably be the right business move for Josh Giddey. If Josh Giddey really believes in himself that he's worth 30 to 35 million, even more than that, then it would only make sense that he accepts that qualifying offer and proves it on the court next season. And if one player's already done it, we know there's many restricted free agents that probably will do it. Josh Giddey is probably going to fall in that same category. I don't see him accepting this offer. And I don't think the Bulls actually expect him to accept this offer. I really feel like we've reached a stalemate and the Bulls slightly budged, but didn't budge enough. And I think Josh Giddey is probably just going to say, you know what? I'm going to prove it myself. All I could ask for, because I fully now have accepted this guy's going to accept his qualifying offer. I'd be stunned if he accepted this deal. All I ask for now, please do not tarnish this relationship any further. Do not disrespect Josh Giddey any further. Give him, you know, the starting point guard spot. Give him the chance to prove it. Give him a chance to ball out. Let him orchestrate the team. Let us have a good season. And if he's worth it, he's worth it. And you're going to have to come back on your hands and knees and pay this man the money that he deserves. It is as simple as that. That's what you're banking on. That's what you're hoping will happen if you're a Bulls fan, because you want to keep Josh Giddey around. You need to hope that the Bulls realize the error of their ways next season and come back with even more money. And that's what is going to have to happen, or we could see the disrespect continue. We could see Josh Giddey ultimately feel like he's not wanted by this organization, and we could potentially see Josh Giddey leave the Chicago Bulls. So, you know, the qualifying offer is a very scary place, and that's kind of where we're at the moment. So do you guys want to see Josh Giddey accept that qualifying offer? I know many of you do. I've seen comments saying that he should definitely accept this qualifying offer. I think the majority of Bulls fans want him long-term and want the Bulls to do whatever it takes to keep him long-term. So ideally, there's no winning for some. We'll have to wait and see what Josh Giddey decides from this situation, but this saga is coming to an end one way or another. So we'll figure it out. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay tuned for more. Take care, and peace.